Now, through the miracles of modern technology, zany worldwide banner featuring Tom, Michelle, and Jim in an on-topic, off-topic free-for-all. Welcome to the Gun Talk After Show.
Hi, welcome to the After Show. That's the part that comes, well, it's strictly an online thing. So if you're listening to this, I know you're not listening to your radio because we're not putting it out on the radio. We have the lovely Michelle Cleland here and Jim Kinsey running the board and sitting in. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Greetings.
Ah, so you guys have been having fun for 3 hours doing this show. Michelle, you get to talk to more people than I do.
I do. I get to talk to a lot of people.
And a lot of them don't make it on the show because they don't get past Michelle.
Well,
Say, well, no, no, you're not getting on. No.
Yeah, just like that. Same delivery.
it's
Pretty much.
not.
You're not getting on. She's just the soup Nazi.
Yeah, right.
No show for you. No show for you. Okay.
Now, if I do that next week, you might get some mail.
That's right.
What happened to Michelle? She was mean to me. Yeah, I know. You have your admirers. That's okay. We'll get to that. Tell you what, we got a couple of callers here. Let's do that and get this thing kicked off. Lewis is out of Toledo, Ohio, not far from you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Lewis.
Hello, Tom. Hello, people.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, people. I love it. Now, Lewis, you know that these guys are like right there in your neighborhood, right?
Yes, I understand that. I've seen Michelle at her store.
Oh, okay.
Is she aware of that?
Okay.
She was running around. She seemed to be quite busy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My guess is Michelle's always busy. So what you been shooting, man?
Well, I got this Smith & Wesson M&P R8 that I'd been lusting after for a long time.
That's the 8-shot 357?
8-shot 357 Magnum, and I hung a Crimson Trace laser on the front of that.
Ooh.
So it is so much fun. You take it to the range and you put the dot on the paper and pull the trigger and a hole appears where the light was.
It's PFM. Just magic, baby.
The nice, interesting thing with this gun, though, is you don't see too many of them in stores. So when I happened to come across one, I was wondering whether to buy it or not, but you weren't there, Tom, to enable me. Well, what I had with me was my wife, who, when I sort of balked at putting down that much money on it, she offered to pay the first 25%.
Wow. Does she have any
You're
sisters?
kidding.
Yeah.
Whoa. So that means she gets to shoot 2 rounds out of every 8 in the cylinder. So there you go.
Yeah. Actually, yesterday at the range, I think she shot about half of we put maybe 200 rounds through it, and she did about half of that.
Good
Atta
for her.
girl.
She's got interest.
Yeah.
Okay. For those who don't know, let me describe this revolver. For those who don't know, it is a piece of art. It is big and heavy, and it's got an underbarrel Picatinny rail on it, so you can put a light or a laser. You put the laser on it. It's an 8-shot 357 Magnum revolver, and being heavy when you shoot 38 Special in it, it's an absolute pussycat, isn't it?
It is just, yes, it is so nice. And when you shoot it single action with that performance center trigger on it, it is just like you think you want it to go off, and it does.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why you don't see many of them. It's because I have 2 of them. I'm serious. That's how much I like that revolver. I think that's one of the finest revolvers. And people go, Python. Yeah, I know. Great. You know, we've had Pythons, all of that. I think this one blows a Python away. Really do.
So you have one for each hand?
Well, yeah. Well, I hadn't thought of that. That means I need a spare now, huh? Time to go shopping again.
Yeah. You have a dual holster rig for that?
Yes, that's right. And I've got bandoliers that I wear across my chest with lots of ammo. So I look like the Frito Bandito. No, but seriously, don't you think that is one of the finest revolvers you've ever handled?
I have a couple other Rugers, and I think I've only shot those and a couple other Smiths. but it is, yeah, that's why I was after that. It was performance center, so I know it's been tuned. It is a nice piece of machinery.
Now, it's not cheap. That a fair assessment?
That's what I was balking at a little bit, but actually she said it would be my birthday present. And my Christmas present.
It's like a 2 or 3 Ruger cost we're talking about. So, and that's why you don't see them very often, and there are not a lot of them out there. But it's still cheaper than going out and paying $3,000 for a Python these days, and I think you're going to get a better gun out of it.
Yes, it is very nice.
And it's an 8-shot.
Yes, it's 8-shot. It's like, so what does the 1911 have on this?
Faster reloads unless you're good with a speed loader, but that's about all there is, honestly. And a .357 Magnum. I will tell you, if you want a handgun for a house gun, Michelle, what do you think of this puppy as a house gun?
Oh, that'd be a great option for a house gun.
Yeah, .357 Magnum. I would probably stick a light. I don't know. I'm torn. Oh, you know what I do? You can get a light laser combo. Stick a light laser combo on it.
It does come with a second rail you can screw on the top.
Mm-hmm.
By that time, it really looks like some kind of contraption, though, with the laser hanging on the bottom or a light on the bottom and something on the top. But
all right, guys, you know what we've got going here, don't you? We've got a 4-person mutual enabling society. Sure, you can buy one. Can I buy something? Okay, great. That works out well.
But since you mentioned putting a light on it, so how does that work with, the rules of gun safety where you don't point the gun at something you're not ready to destroy, but you're going to illuminate it with the light? Excellent
question, and there is a technique for that. Here's what you find is if it's truly dark where you actually need a flashlight, what you do is if you're moving around a house, you would point it down at about a 45-degree angle. The light is going to bounce up and it's going to fill everything, all the room in front of you. It really is that bright, a 200 to 300 lumen light. And so now you're not pointing the gun at everything you're shining the light on. You don't use it as a flashlight exactly, but you do use it to illuminate everything. But it's a technique, and I'm so glad you asked the question because I forgot to mention that. It's something that comes up. It's one of the things you learn in low-light classes that you do when it's really dark. I mean, you take one of our Surefire Streamlight, whatever the light is, go into a room that's really dark or get up in the middle of the night, and you can point it quite literally anywhere in the room, walls, floors, ceiling, whatever, and it's going to light up the whole room. So you can see just fine with that muzzle pointed at a 45-degree angle down, and then obviously if you need to bring it up to aim it, then that's not a problem. You're already on target. You just pop it right up. But it's a great question. Thank you, sir. Well, look, I love the range report. The M&P R8 is a fabulous revolver. In 2 weeks, I'll be at the M&P, at Smith & Wesson in the Performance Center, taking a look at things they're making. So maybe I'll have my own range report on some of the new stuff they're doing. So we'll have that.
Cool.
Lewis, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. That's very cool. Man, seriously, guys, if you get a chance to shoot that anytime, the M&P R8 is a great revolver. And I wasn't kidding when I say I own 2 of them.
I just went to Brownell's. I can't find any spare mags for it, though.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's really a problem.
Hard to
it really
find.
Is. Well, that's why, I don't like to reload them. I just pick up the other one. They used to call that the New York reload. Just go to the second gun. So
well, Tom, I realize you love Michelle as I do, but we're not alone anymore, Tom. She's worldwide.
Excuse me?
Worldwide.
She's gone worldwide.
Wait, you might want to rephrase that.
Yes,
dude.
thank
I'm just
you.
telling you.
Yeah.
How wide is she?
In hindsight.
No. You don't want to go hindsight either.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, you're only digging this hole deeper.
I'm out of here. I'm leaving now. Hey, how about we go to Texas and let somebody else embarrass himself instead of me?
Okay, let's talk to Marty. He's calling in from Texas. Hey, Marty, welcome to Gun Talk and the After Show.
I wanted to compliment Michelle.
Okay.
She is just a joy to talk to. She is absolutely sparkling.
It's true.
And
this isn't Valentine's Day, is it?
Hey, Marty, are you one of these guys that calls in every week that doesn't want to talk to me, who just calls in to talk to Michelle? Because there are several like that, you know.
No, because I got my own Michelle here. My bride is Michelle.
Attaboy.
Oh, I'll be darned.
But your Michelle is just a beauty to talk to. And also, on the silencers, can you silence a revolver?
You can quiet it down somewhat, but I think you know where we're going is you've got all that gas that comes out around the cylinder, and there's not much you can do about that, maybe other than, wrap the whole thing in a pillow, and that's just kind of ugly looking, you know. So walking around with a pillow on top of your revolver. Although we have done goofy things like that for TV. But no, yes, you can put a silencer on a revolver. It's not terribly effective, I guess, is the bottom line on that.
But I was just kind of curious. But I did want to compliment Michelle. She was such a joy to talk to.
Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing that. I mean, we think the world of Michelle, and I know that an awful lot of people who call in kind of have their own little crush on her. And Michelle, you know it's true. You know you have admirers.
I do have admirers. I'm sitting here listening as I told Marty he's making me blush.
Kind of hard to fire after that call, too.
Yeah, well, that is some job security right there. Yeah, thank you for that.
Well, the good news, I can't really pull back the email, so there you go. It's done. Once you hit send, man, it's out there. So. Hey, Marty, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Yeah, we all do love Michelle. I mean, who wouldn't? Not only are you delightful and beautiful, but you're smart and you know what the heck you're talking about. So next week, it's going to be the All Michelle Show. I'm going on vacation. Heck with this. I'm getting out of here.
Michelle's Gun Talk's got a ring to it.
Michelle's Gun Talk.
It does, exactly. Well, and of course, I guess, we're allowed to share also because Jim kind of keeps everything straight because your bride is Michelle also.
Yeah, it gets confusing around here.
Yeah, that's right. We'll just let Michelle take care of that. They're going like
I don't want to do that. Yeah.
Drop the ball, yeah.
Not you, the other one.
Those are my job duties.
What, you have job duties?
Right, yes. I do not have to make him lunch or dinner.
That's true. Well, neither does mine.
Trust me, his wife doesn't either.
That's right. Spot on. Speaking of responsibilities, why don't we hit this break and come back and we can further stroke Michelle's ego when we get back.
As if it needs it now. All right, be right back. You like free stuff, right? You like good deals, and you want more guns, ammo, and accessories. So get all of that with the free smartphone app, Gun Dealio. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you'll get special offers and deals when you walk into a gun store. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Who wouldn't want that? Gun Dealio at the App Store and Google Play. GunDealio.com. All right, we're back. It's Jim Kinsey, Michelle Cleland, and me. What's his name? Putting together the after show here, having some fun. Speed loaders. Oh. One thing Marty had asked about silencing a revolver, and we keep talking about the gases that come out the side. One of the demos we do, and this is fun. Next time you guys are out, do this. Take a Magnum revolver, put Magnum loads in it, a 44 Magnum or a 357, and then take a piece of newspaper and just lay it over so it drapes around the gun. Just hold it out and fire one round with this newspaper hanging on either side of it, and watch it just turn into confetti.
Oh, I thought it might catch fire.
Nothing out in front of the muzzle. I haven't had one catch fire because the blast is so fast it doesn't. It just blows a hole in the paper, and which is also a good way to demonstrate to people why you don't take a two-handed grip on a revolver with one of your hands like laying next to the cylinder, because it will blow a hole in your hand.
Yeah, we should try to find out how many people have done that twice.
Not a lot. I have seen a picture of a guy's thumb that got severed when he did that with a 44 Magnum, and just the gas is just cut like the tip part of his thumb, just kind of cut it off.
I believe it.
That's probably like a real owie. I bet that hurt like the dickens. Probably stings for a little while anyway.
Let me try left-handed now.
That's right. Put a little mercurochrome thiolate on that thing. It'll be fine. Don't worry about
Mercurochrome.
that.
I haven't heard that in years. All right.
No kidding. Can you even get mercurochrome anymore?
I don't know. I don't even think you can get Ipecac anymore,
Bless you.
which I
No,
never had
but
a real big demand for. But
I've been to Ipecac. That's upstate New York, I think, isn't it?
near Rochester, I think.
Yeah, near Rochester. Okay.
Yes, sir,
There
Mr.
you
Benny.
go.
No, not that Rochester.
Not that one. Michelle, do your duty. Shrek.
Got it.
Well done. Okay, 1 slopogram delivered. There you go. So, we got speed loaders, revolvers. We got lots of suppressor talk. Are you now, Michelle? Do you guys handle suppressors? Do you do that?
No, we do not.
That's your area, okay? Because it's a separate deal. You have to have a separate license for that, don't you?
Yes, you do. You have to have that Class 3 license, and our store does not have that particular license. So, nope.
But you still have a lot of class.
Yes, we still have a lot of
Just
class.
not Class 3.
Right.
If it wasn't for low class, I wouldn't have.
I was going to say, we
class
just
at
didn't
all.
have to. We didn't have to pay that much for it.
They got the discount class.
Oh, you know, Tom, there was somebody that had called in. His name was Bill. He was from Austin, Texas, and wanted me to let you know that he is a fan of yours, and he became a huge fan of yours once he realized that your father was Grits. And he wanted me to put out the question to you: what do you think of a 480 Ruger Special?
So he'd be creating a new cartridge, basically like a 44 Special, but it would be for the 480 Ruger.
Yep, that's where he was going. Because he just thought that would be, in his words, just dandy to take out and use for hunting and shooting.
Well, what about the Smith 500? Are there some softer loads you can shoot in that?
Well,
It's the
there
same concept,
are.
right?
There's 2 different loads there, but honestly, I got to tell you, if you're going to go to the Smith 500, get the Smith 460. It shoots flatter, hits about as hard as the 500, and with the 460, same revolver, you can shoot 454 Casull in it and 45 Colt
Right.
in it.
Okay,
so
there
you
you
could
go.
use even the super light Cowboy Action 45 Colt loads, which in that big old gun, you'd hardly even know it went off.
Yeah, practice loads.
But back to the 480 Ruger Special. Really, all you would need would be for somebody to load down the 480. It wouldn't have to be a shorter case, which is often the case with specials versus the Magnums, but just you need lighter loads, right? I mean, am I thinking about this right?
Well,
He wants some practice loads for his 480 Ruger.
Well, and he was thinking if they design such a caliber, would they ever look at designing that type of caliber for the general public?
Maybe make our gun around a shorter, less powerful 480. Maybe make a different revolver.
Well, you could.
Well, I mean, you could, but we've got 44 Magnum.
Right. You wouldn't have
We've
to.
got.
You wouldn't have to produce a whole new gun. I guess you're right. You would just have to come up with a factory load for a special, like a 44 Special, yeah.
Yeah, I think what somebody needs to do, rather than have a new name for it, is just same case, be a 480 Ruger, but just have a light load for it. The original 41 Magnum, which came out a gazillion years ago, came out with a full power load and then the police load, which was a much lighter load with a lead bullet. And it was fun to shoot with the light load and not as much fun to shoot with the heavy load. And there wasn't a special in a Magnum like 44 Magnum, but that was because there never was a special 44 Special. It just started out as a 41. So now there's no such thing as, the 480 Ruger wasn't built on a lighter, kicking, less powerful cartridge. All you have to do is just convince somebody to load it. For that matter,
I thought
it would be going the opposite direction. But Mike McNett over at Double Tap, he loads the hot stuff. But what if he loaded up range practice ammo for 480? Nice light loads. That'd be kind of fun.
Now, I asked you something similar to that a while back, Tom, about similar length cartridges using less powder, and you had mentioned there was a safety issue because of the burn rate with
there
powder
absolutely
floating
can be.
around.
That's why I'm thinking that I would want somebody that knows what he's doing to load it, or if you're going to hand load it, you can certainly go to a lighter kicking, but you got to go to a different powder. You can't use a Magnum powder and just keep reducing the load, because at a certain point you don't have enough powder to fill the case, and then
Burn
weird
rate
stuff
changes.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually, when the primer goes off, it can blow all of the powder up into the case, and it's all like in suspension, and it all goes, it burns faster, so you'd have a faster burn rate. So you'd want to go to a different powder that was bulkier to fill the case.
Gotcha.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's kind of where my question was heading. If you use something different to either fill that
now,
or
the other thing that we used to do, I don't know that anybody's recommending it anymore. Michelle, you may remember this. We would do light loads, and we would put the powder in, and then put Kapok, which is like filler material, little fluffy stuff, down in the case, and then seat the bullet on top of that. And the Kapok,
kind of like a shotgun
stuff that kind of like that, and it's basically a little fluffy stuff that keeps all the powder against the primer where it's supposed to be,
right? So
that you wouldn't have that issue.
Now, could you use something like a cotton ball, or would it have to be the product you just mentioned?
But you would want it to be very light, maybe just tuft out a cotton ball so you just get the little fluffy stuff.
Right.
Pull it apart. You could do that. The Kapok, as I remember, I wonder if one of the reasons we used it because it didn't burn. Because you really don't want to like spread burning cotton balls all over the field if you're out there shooting. Now you spend the rest of your time trying to stamp out the fire that you just started. Just cuts down on your shooting fun. Yeah. But yeah, you could do that. That was one of the weird things we used to do. We put cornmeal.
I was just going to say, like grits. People use grits, I know.
Yep, grits and cornmeal. Yep, we've used that before.
Yep, because it's really fine. It can still go through a measure, so you have an idea of, where your case is.
But what you don't want is to have cornmeal and gunpowder. We've used to mix, because now if it starts mixing up, then it really screws up your burn rate. Once again, I go back to my safe place like this. I like to have a safe place like universities have now. My safe place is if it's not published by a known quantity, that'd be a powder maker, bullet maker, somebody like Nosler, Sierra, Hodgdon, don't do it. Well, my buddy, I know, right, don't do it. Well, the guy at the gun store, I know, don't do it.
Oh, Seven-Finger Bill? Seven-Finger Bill's been rolling a long time.
Yeah, that's right. And he says he's really got 2 more to go on that hand before he's going to change what he's doing. Actually, I did know a guy at a gun store that did exactly that. Took 2 of his fingers off at a gun store.
But he didn't have 7 to start with on that hand, did he?
Derringer.
Oh, my gosh.
Put his hand over the barrel of a Derringer, closed it up, went off. Boom.
Oh.
God, I don't like those.
I do not like those. I know people go, no, I don't. It's just so easy. You're taking the barrel as the cocking mechanism, and it's so easy to get a finger or something out in front of it. And there's so
many other guns available now that outperform it in the same size, basically.
Well, and there's
LCP.
There's several of them that don't even have trigger guards on them.
Yeah.
Sure, what could go wrong there?
Right. I mean, the first place to go for people who aren't trained, their finger goes right onto that trigger, and that's scary.
It's funny. If you take somebody that hasn't had a gun before in their hands, haven't shot, hand them a gun, first thing they do is they roll their trigger finger right in and put it right on top of the trigger, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do.
And which may be a teaching point for us. First thing is, let me show you how to hold the gun, unloaded gun. Finger goes out here straight. And then hand them the gun like 10 times and have them hold it correctly so the finger's straight. It's not inside the trigger guard. Until we do that, we're not doing anything else.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You guys seen the video, it's made the rounds, of the guy in the shooting range, the gun store shooting range, who's checking to see if the laser is working on his gun?
Yeah.
And points it at his own hand.
Yep.
Then, he does, in fact, blow a hole in his hand on video. We actually had a guy do exactly that on one of our first-person defender shoots. We had a laser on a 45 1911, and before any of us could move, he had put his hand out in front of the muzzle to see the laser pointing at his hand.
No.
He's going, oh, no. I am such a fanatic about where's that muzzle pointed. When I take my pistol as in a holster, and I'm taking the holster off, you have to be careful. If you slide the holster off the gun or the gun out of the holster, you could conceivably sweep your own hand there.
Yep.
So you just do it slowly and make sure it comes out, and then the muzzle moves away from the hand and never goes, points at it. you got to be nutso on the safety of this stuff.
Actually, you came to mind this week, Tom. I was using two different power tools, a power screwdriver and a spray power washer. And both of them, I'm noticing every time I'm done with the screw, my finger comes out of the trigger guard. And it wasn't a conscious thing. And as I was using the power washer later, I'm going, well, I'm done power washing. I'm going to walk around the other corner of the house, and my finger's outside the trigger. It's like, wow, I guess you can have good habits.
That's mental program.
That's a pretty,
But I mean, it's a tool, right?
Yep.
And like any other tool, I mean, but it's carried over from guns into other things. Because I'm sure 30 years ago.
I saw Lethal Weapon. I know what happens to nail guns. So,
yeah. Have you seen the DeWalt mock-up AR-15?
Oh, my gosh. Is that hilarious?
With the battery-powered nail driver?
Magazine? That's hilarious.
That would be cool if there was such a thing. It would be great.
You could do up like an AR-15 leaf blower,
Wow. Soon in a Home Depot near you.
870 tree trimmer.
Because we have nothing else to do, right? Get right on that, would you please? Holy cow. But the thing is, it would sell like crazy. It would.
Yeah.
Until Hillary Clinton bans it and says, nothing that looks like guns. Oh, speaking of the whole looks like guns thing, I'm trying to figure out, we're going to have a conversation with TSA. Somebody highly placed, because we actually watched them tell somebody at the TSA check they couldn't hand carry a ceramic statue, little foot tall statue, because it was a cowboy who had in his hand a revolver.
You got to be kidding.
I am not making this up. Watched it happen.
Oh, my God.
Did you tape it?
Yeah, would love to have. And I know they say, well, it looks like a gun. No, that's not. Because they say, we can't have anything that looks like a gun. So it's like if you have a 1-inch long lapel pin. I've actually had them take lapel pins away from people. I've watched that. That of like a little Glock or something. I think the intent was something that could be mistaken for a gun. I don't think a lapel pin could be mistaken for a gun. I don't think that a ceramic statue of a cowboy holding an itty-bitty ceramic revolver is going to convince somebody that, hey, I've got a gun here.
Yeah, well, they're going to have their hands full with other stuff coming. Have you seen the iPhone with the 2-shot 380?
Yeah, but I prefer Android, so it doesn't interest me. So, yeah, I saw that. But, ATF will get involved in that at some point. They actually banned, or actually, what did they do? They regulated a holster. Remember the holster that had the hole in it, Michelle? So you could fire the gun while it was in the holster, a little pocket holster? So you could stick like an LCP or something in your back pocket, pull it out, and you could shoot. They actually classified the holster as an NFA item.
You got
Really?
Oh, my God.
Any other weapon, yes. Once again, whoever's in the White House...
A lot of control there.
...affects all that kind of stuff. A lot of control. People say, well, they can't pass a law. They don't have to. All they have to do is say, this is now prohibited. It's not a law, but it's the force of law. It's what the ATF did with this suppressor thing.
Yeah, maybe not entitled.
That did not change. The law has never been passed to change it. They just reinterpreted the regulations and said, we're issuing these regulations.
That can never happen without a vote, Tom.
No.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, right. Man. I mean, think about IRS regulations. Nobody votes on that stuff. They just come out.
Right. Yes, it's just announced.
Just announced. This is what it is by somebody you never voted for, that no one ever voted for, and now it's law. Whoever's in the White House does have a lot to say about that. And basically can put the head person in charge of the agency, which is, if you have a strong personality in the White House, that can carry forward. If you've got a weak person, he or she may not even know what's going on in some of these agencies, I think.
Well, I think just as important, too, I know there's a lot of concentration with the presidential race, but, we've got really important Senate races going on, too. And I think just as equally important are some of the Senate stuff. Not to take up too much political time, because I know people go one way and the other.
I think it's a good point. It's an excellent point. So imagine losing the White House and control of both the Senate and the House. If the gun ban party, which is the Democrats, the gun ban party, takes control of Congress and the White House and gets to stack the Supreme Court, we're screwed.
We're done, yeah.
The lengths to which they can go. Now, I mean, just think about your business, Michelle, and what ATF, just through regulation, could do to a gun store.
Oh, yeah. You could be gone in no time at all. I mean, truly. They could keep regulating and keep passing more and more regulations, and you're regulated to death now, and nobody realizes it because they're not in the business. They think it is just as easy as the street says and the media reports of how, you can buy a gun in a second and you're out the door, but it doesn't happen like that. And
I was thinking about that kind of thing in this case of the family of the victims of the Newtown shooting murders. And, of course, what they want to do is be able to hold responsible the makers of the guns that were used. And I got to thinking, I wonder if people really understand what's going on here and what that is. And it may be that I've not connected the dots clearly on that, and I want to just kind of touch on that. If Remington and Bushmaster, Remington owns Bushmaster, are held liable for the misuse of a gun, that they made it legally, it was not defective, it's not unsafe to shoot, it was sold to a distributor legally, the distributor then sold it to a gun store legally, all regulated, that it was sold to an individual with the okay of the FBI, and then that woman's son murdered her to take her gun and go kill all these little children. And then Remington and Bushmaster are held responsible for that. Here's what happens. And I'm not overstating this. I want people to understand this is not overstating it. All gun companies close their doors. They all go out of business because nobody is going to insure a gun company.
Right.
If the gun company can be held financially responsible for the misuse of its product, they will not be able to get insurance. They will go out of business. Every gun maker in the country will close its doors. And I'm not talking about in 20 years. I'm talking about in a matter of months, maybe a couple of years. They're all going to get out of the business. It's gone. And that's the goal. That was the goal of the lawsuits back, 15, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. New Orleans started it all. The idea was all we have to do is win one of them and we kill all gun companies.
So why isn't
That's
it moot?
What this is?
Why isn't it a moot point if precedent's already been set by the Supreme Court? Why is it even an issue?
They keep trying to find a way in. And of course, the other thing is Hillary Clinton says if she's elected, she will undo that law so that people can sue gun companies for the misuse of their products. I mean, that's an important part of her platform, which is her saying, I will close the doors of every gun company in the United States. As simple as that. I mean, that's what it is.
Which, of course, eliminates your right to now buy a new one, obviously. And
right.
And we already know where they are with the ones that are already in existence, leading towards registration and, like you say, ultimately confiscation.
And then all they have to do is say, okay, and they do take a long game on this. They say, okay, if we can stop the manufacture of new guns through the lawsuit process, and then we can ramp up the regulation with the so-called universal background check, so you can't give a gun to someone without the FBI's okay. You can't sell a gun privately to somebody without the FBI's okay. And then we just continue to make it harder and harder to do that. Eventually, they're not confiscating the guns, and that's the part. Some people say, well, they're not going to go door to door. Don't have to. All they have to do is say you can't buy a new one, and you can't sell it or give it to anybody. So guns last only as long as people who have them now are alive, at which point you will be required to turn them in if you are the survivor of the person who died, under penalty of 30 years in prison if you don't.
Yeah, confiscation by attrition, basically.
So that's it. Confiscation through attrition. Exactly correct. It's not a stretch at all. And I mean, we'll look at what's happening in New York. When somebody dies, the police check the obits and they check them against the gun registration list. And within 2 or 3 days, they go to the home to pick up the guns right now. That's what they're doing right now. So it's not like paranoia. If it's actually happened, I don't think it's paranoia.
Oh, you gun guys are all nuts. They don't want
yeah,
your
but that's a whole
guns.
separate issue.
Yeah, that's for another show.
That's right. That's a whole different deal. Yeah, no one wants to take away your guns except the ones who do. And they, and the take away the guns is not what people say. Well, I'll fight them. I'll stand at the door. I'll shoot those guys. Not going to work like that. That's not how it's going to happen. Just not how it's going to happen.
So
you just won't be able to buy anything new, and you won't be able to give them or sell them to anybody. And so when you die, your children, trust me, will turn them into the government. Because by then, as Clinton says, she will have completely changed the gun culture. She will have convinced everybody that only loonies own guns. Your children will be turning you in, and they will turn in all your guns because they don't want to go to prison for 30 years. It's the old deal. You guys have heard the stories about the Nazis that go into the house and say, there's a gun here, and if you won't tell them where it is, they just simply shoot one of your kids in front of you.
Right.
Cheery. I know. Lovely. But that's, and people say, oh, you're crazy. You're just scaremongering. Well, once again, if they're currently doing it, it's really not paranoia. That, to me, that's what this election is about. I would love to get your take on it, guys. I am not sure that all gun owners really get this. And Michelle, you probably talk to as many people, more people than any of us.
Right. And most of the people that are purchasing firearms now are purchasing them because they feel that they won't be able to buy one, which could ultimately become the truth. But, as we try to talk with the public, if you don't change the way that we're voting and who we're voting in, it doesn't matter what you buy now anyways. And it's not necessarily you that's going to suffer. It's your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Think of them. It's not that we don't want the world to be safe. We go for training. We teach ourselves. We go to the ranges so we are safe. We take classes so we are safe. We have laws in place that protects people who are not law-abiding or been adjudicated mentally defective, or, there's all these things that are in place to prevent sales from going to the hands of the wrong people. So if by law we follow all of that, then we're selling it to perfectly sane people.
Yeah, but, therein lies the rub. And unless we can get, forget getting the general public on our side, I don't think we even have all gun owners on our side.
Well, I don't think that they understand where it can go. They still believe, you can't just change a law. It has to go through Congress. It has to, this has to happen and that has to happen.
Right.
Well, they may not say in words, that much as far as changing the Second Amendment, but like you say, they pass other laws or they have the ability to sue the gun-making companies, which in turn, like you said, are going to go out of business. They can't afford to pay one of those. They can't afford to pay one.
No, lose one lawsuit, close the doors. You're
one
out
and done.
Bankrupt.
Right, right.
One and done.
And they've changed the whole idea of a mass shooting from being a quantity of people to 4. And so they put that across media. Unfortunately, it happens too often, and it does happen too often. But, crime happens every day, whether it's with a baseball bat or a hammer or a car. So where does that lead? Why does it only go against the gun manufacturers?
No, exactly right. Except it's only us. They won't do it. Wouldn't do it for anybody else. So for those who can't see this, I would like to just offer up a little bit of history. I personally never thought that we would ban an entire class of guns that in 1994, Congress, under Bill Clinton, he pushed through and got the Clinton gun ban, banning all these semi-automatic firearms. And, of course, it was so poorly written, we actually could get around it. We could comply with the law by leaving off the flash suppressors or the bayonet lugs, of all things. They know better now. They learned from that. When they come back, they're not going to have those openings for us. And I honestly did not think they would pass that. I thought, no, it's the United States of America. We've got the Second Amendment. All the things you hear people saying today, and they looked at us and go, we don't care. As they say, elections have consequences. They'll look at you and say, we won, you lost, we're going to do what we want to do. And they're just that bold and that crude about it.
And there will be no
we
sunset
won,
provision
you
either.
lost. Oh, there'll be no sunset provision. Exactly right. It will be forever, and no one will ever come back and try. No one will even try to undo it. It's not like, well, we're going to try, but we can't get it voted in. No one will try because they'll say, well, these are assault weapons used to kill children, and if you come back and offer an effort to try to repeal that later, it'd be like saying, I want to put a pit bull in every nursery. You won't have a prayer. You'll be gone as far as being reelected.
Yeah.
So this is also a one and done. We lose this, it's gone forever. One and done, we lose it, it's gone forever. And Hillary Clinton, back to what you said, Michelle, elections for Senate, elections for House. If you get Clinton in and you get a majority in the House and Senate, just get out of the way. They're going to bulldoze. They're going to steamroll the whole thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many phone calls or how many letters or anything else that you do at that time. It doesn't matter. And as a caller said earlier, we need to be on the offense now. And there's probably not enough people out there speaking verbally, in groups or in families or however it is, because, this divides many, many families, this whole concept. And, you need to get information out there. You need to educate them. If you're going to purchase something and take somebody with you so they see what the process is, or, do some investigating, because there's so many misconceptions that are out there, and it just...
Well, if nothing else, you need to get everybody registered to vote, and then you've got to get them motivated to vote. Mm-hmm. That's basically how we're going to stop it. And there's no other way we're going to stop it. We're going to have to get everybody registered, and then we got to get them all to the polls. We got to get them to vote their guns. It's basically, this is a gun vote deal. And it's not overstating it to talk about what they're going to do. Hillary, I've never seen a politician, even Charles Schumer, is not as anti-gun as Hillary Clinton. And I never thought I'd say that about anybody because he's so anti-gun. Even Schumer is not as bad as Hillary Clinton. She lives and breathes and wants this stuff.
I wonder how long till we see her doing a shotgun shot, photo op.
Oh, never.
I don't know.
See, that's the thing. No. Because, see, they are now at the point where it's very different from 8 years ago. There's no pretense of, well, I'm a gun owner, or I like to shoot trap or ski.
Hunter, yeah, right.
And I'm a hunter, but I want to be reasonable about this. None of that. It's, I hate guns. I hate gun owners. We have too many guns in America. We're going to get rid of them. Done. They're so out in the open on this now. Whether their advisors have told them it's okay, I don't know what's going on here.
And they've got the people supporting them, obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you look at when you look at the polls and you listen to some of the information and do some of your own investigating is what I always recommend. But it's pretty fascinating. It's disgusting that all those people are following. Like, where what are you thinking at that point in time?
They're not. They don't think for themselves.
Well, there are a lot of people. For Barack Obama, first time I heard this phrase, I was in Cordoba, Argentina. We were talking to a waiter, and it was right before, during the campaign for his first election. And the waiter says, he was so in love with Obama. This guy's in Argentina. And I asked him, I said, what is it that you like about him? He said, very simply, he says, he looks like me. That was it. There are going to be a ton of Americans who are going to vote for Hillary Clinton only because she's a woman, period. Doesn't matter anything else. Whether they think it's good to have a woman in or whether they think it's a great guilt trip because we've never had it before, whatever the motivation is, there's going to be a very strong element of that here. So probably can't do anything about that. And actually, when I think about it, the only thing we can do anything about, honestly, is try to get our people to the polls. Beyond that, I don't know. And my great fear is that that's not enough. I think, I will tell you right now, if you had told me to handicap the election, I would say it's about 60% in my belief that it's going to be Hillary elected to the White House.
I'm still praying the outside shot that she's in prison by the time that happens, but that won't happen either.
No, they're slow walking the investigation. Well, we just watched
two
what
investigations
happened.
Right now, actually.
We just got a whole bunch of papers released on Fast and Furious, which revealed that Holder was involved he knew about it from the beginning, even though he lied and said he didn't. Just lots and lots of data just came out this past week. Nobody notices. Nobody cares.
Nobody talks
They
about
were
it.
able to deny and delay to the point where it ceased to be a story.
Because the media chooses what to pick up and report on.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
If people don't think it's slanted, it's
there's
not.
still some guys like Trey Gowdy and stuff that go after him, and regardless of how popular it is.
Tilting at windmills,
But
not going anywhere, not doing anything.
But the majority of the people who watch your big three programs
Agree.
are not paying any attention because it's not been said, therefore it never happened.
Right.
It's not true.
That's right. If they're not talking about it on the news, I don't know about it, or it's not true, or you guys, that's just Republican talking points.
And
When we talk about Hillary getting indicted, they say, oh, that's just Republican talking points. Nothing's ever going to happen there. Well, they may be right on the second.
and Gene, who called in earlier in the program, what a fascinating thought for somebody to, actually stand up and question.
I loved her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody stand up at a town hall and say, Secretary Clinton, your bodyguards have guns to protect you. Why is your life more important than mine? I mean, that would be just the greatest question. And that would get picked up by the news.
Yeah, you'd have to lie and say you're a Democrat to get into the town hall meeting.
Well, that's the deal. You do not get in if you belong to the NRA or...
What? There's censorship?
No. Well, you had said that we have to be on the offense, and I should be great because I'm really offensive, I've been told.
Yes, you are.
Number of times.
What you want to do is donate $500 to the local Democrat Party, get on their list, get invited to the event. There you go. You're in. So...
Boy, talk about clothespin on the nose. Is he writing that check?
So, man, all righty. Well, I am getting ready to go spend the week with a bunch of gun people. We're going to have Crimson Trace and SIG and Mossberg and Smith & Wesson and a bunch of people we're doing a lot of TV with this week and actually the next 2 weeks. So we'll be having a bunch of fun doing that.
Sweet.
So as I find out new things, if they're not embargoed, then I will be able to bring it forward. Sometimes they tell me stuff, say, all right, you can't talk about this until July or whatever. So, okay, that's fine. We do that.
Do you have your list of
There's
don't
a lot
talks?
of stuff going on. Well, it's funny you say that because then I get back and think, okay, can I talk about that one? Because they had like 6 things and there was one thing I wasn't supposed to talk about. Which one was it? I don't remember. Rats.
Well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a list of all the things you don't like currently, Tom. And I'm going to buy those, and then I'm going to wait a few years and sell them back to you, like lasers and suppressors, remember?
After I changed my mind, yeah. I don't really want one of those. Oh, okay, yeah.
No, you used to not be a laser guy, and then you were enlightened.
I was not. It wasn't just that I wasn't a laser guy. I was anti-laser.
Yeah.
My catchy phrase that I used, which now sounds so stupid, was, I would not want to trust my life to a battery. Okay? All right, great. Clever, catchy. But then, of course, you find out, well, that's not really what's going on. You use your iron sights and you use the laser as a backup if something, or it's the situation where it would help. But the other thing is, these batteries last. And now that they've got the batteries for life, they'll send you free batteries once a year.
Well, I think they did that just to quiet you down a little bit.
That's right.
They probably did.
They went up
They're going to shut that guy up.
Yeah, well, shut him up, then we're going to sponsor him. We'll show him.
Gresham, anti-laser. I was actually talking with Kent Thomas from Crimson Trace earlier this week. I said, you know how much of a laser guy I am now. He says, yeah, I know. It's been interesting to watch.
You've grown.
When I really got it, though? This was kind of fun. As we were doing a drill outside at the range, and we had 3 steel targets, and we were moving laterally, so moving to the side fast and shooting one-handed. With iron sights, you can forget it. You're not putting shots on target. With a laser, you can practically run and shoot one-handed and put shots on target.
I'm going to try that right now.
Okay. Duck, Michelle.
Well, it's a great training tool to use for dry firing as well. Obviously, making sure again and again that your gun is actually emptied. Maybe no magazine in it at all, but you can see your flinching.
But then you can shine. Then you can shine the light on your hand, right? See if it's the light.
No, Tom. No. We've gone over this at the safety meeting.
Bad Tom. Bad Tom.
There's nobody there for a slapogram.
FedEx him one.
Okay.
Oh, there, he
I
took
just
care of
slapped
himself.
myself. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Oh, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Well, congratulations
No, you're right.
on
It's
the...
great.
sorry, go ahead.
Yes? Go ahead.
No, it's all you.
I'm not going to talk now. You can't make me.
He's forgotten.
I'm sorry. No. Just, I'm sorry. You interrupted me, so I'm just not going to talk.
Okay.
So back to the calls. Is there another one for me?
This dead air was brought to you by.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Better to fill it with something than nothing, they say.
So what? What did he say? What?
Okay, so I was congratulating you on the longest after show of all time, which was today.
Oh, yeah. Look
Oh,
at that.
it is.
It's relatively painless. Time flies when you're rambling.
Only seemed like 3 hours. Jeez. All right, you guys have a great week, and I will give you a report when I get back next Sunday on all the new stuff that I found out about.
Sweet.
All right. Take care, Tom.
Be good, guys.
Tell your friends about the Gun Talk After Show, a more informal setting featuring Tom, Michelle, and Jim commenting on topics that are important to you. Available on iTunes and other podcatchers, and the Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android.